little bold and extremely fun. It's Sunrise with Craig Vronick right here on KCMX AM 880. Lively conversations around news, politics, and people, plus local news and weather every 30 minutes. We want to hear from you. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or go to kcmxam.com. Join in the conversation by calling 541-772-8255. Sunrise, where it matters what you think.
Oh, I almost sang that. I almost just went out there on a limb and did that. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunrise Show. 7 minutes after the hour, about 59 degrees. Going to be 86 today. Beautiful day in the Rogue Valley, Southern Oregon. Welcome all of our Twitter fans and our folks, our fans around the world with our live streaming on KCMXAM.com. We have a great guest in this morning and very excited to welcome in Colleen Johnston. She's the Senior Business Development Manager over at So Ready. Been there for 13 years and takes her all over the country. And, of course, preparing now for the 27th So Ready annual meeting with all of the members. And there's a great program. You're rolling out the national marketing campaign, the Southern Oregon Edge. Colleen, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Craig. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's great. You know, 13 years with So Ready, you have seen a lot. I mean, you touch a lot. I mean, you get a lot of places, and you service Jackson and Josephine County.
That's correct.
So you come into businesses. I would think that you have a great pulse on what's going on in our counties and in our region in comparison to other areas of the country. I mean, you have the Northwest, right? And you have maybe Central and wherever you go on visits. So we've got a call coming in of all things. But answer the question.
Well, that's true. We do have a good pulse. We don't always have a great comparison to other communities necessarily. We try to really be tuned into what's going on in our region and then use those strengths to now what we're doing is going to brand outside the area and attract more companies to the region. So that's part of our campaign we're talking about.
I love
today.
it. I mean, the quality of life. I mean, it's not a secret, but it is, isn't it? The quality of life.
Somewhat true. Yes, that's somewhat true. A lot of folks believe we're pretty remote. And
I mean,
they just really haven't gotten here to see what it's all about.
And Ron Fox was quoted in the paper yesterday. If you didn't get to see it, it was in the Medford Mail Tribune on the sidebar. And Ron, the executive director, quoted, he said, "We're striving for cultural recognition, and it's not rainy in this part of Oregon." And many people don't understand that rain is half of what it is in the northern part of the state.
That's correct. A lot of folks have this perception that Oregon is all about Portland and rain, and they don't understand that we're so close to the California border here that we're very different climate, different political, and all kinds of different viewpoints here.
Can we call it a mecca?
I like to call it a mecca.
Exactly.
I'm a native of the area, and I believe it's a mecca.
Very good. We have we lost it. Okay. Caller, if you want to call back, give us a call, 541-772-8255. Called as we were just coming out of that break. You know, Colleen, it's great to, of course, have you in and see the vibrant, of the economy. And I'm very excited, actually, for the annual meeting tomorrow. A lot of businesses have leaned in for a long time. And it's funny I use that word lean because it's been lean. The whole county business with the county budgets not being what it is. I mean, you operate on a very, very lean budget in comparison to other. I saw that article where, what So Ready does here on what they have to operate on is so marginal in comparison to the other communities around the state. Address that a little bit.
You are correct. We do operate very lean. We're just 4 people right now doing a lot of different activities, from trying to attract and recruit companies to the region to the heart of what we do is helping our existing companies thrive and grow, because we have more job creation that will come from those companies than those we recruit from outside the area. And then we have our loan program. So we are trying to do a lot of things on a nimble budget, but I have to say we're very passionate about it, and we're out there just talking to businesses every day.
You know, I love what you do as as tied in with the Southern Oregon Angel Investment Network, but also more so Jefferson Grapevine and those type of programs, bringing entrepreneurial spirits together. And I encourage folks all the time on this program, you know, go if you're working on your businesses, go out, because, and this is something that I'm so impressed with, you know, the TAG group, you know, the Technical Advisory Group, and they are there volunteering their time. These are proven business leaders that either are in, they have the time that they can take off from work and go to that, or they're retired altogether. And some of these individuals, 20 and 30 years industry experience, and there they are asking you these questions, telling you these answers that you get nowhere else.
That's right, and that's part of what inspires us here in Southern Oregon for entrepreneurs. And one of our message points in our campaign is that we have people here that have a community spirit that want to see businesses thrive and grow, especially startup companies.
You know, of course, this marketing campaign, very excited, the Southern Oregon Edge. Tell us how that started. I mean, what was there a something that ignited that we had to start? What was missing there? Where
yes,
was that?
there was a moment that was kind of an inspirational moment for me. For years, we've talked about in our Business Recruitment and Retention Committee, which is another group of great, passionate people that are volunteers for So Ready. We've been talking a long time about having a regional branding campaign. We have many unique communities, but we needed something regional because that's what resonates with our national site selectors that are looking at companies that might like to be here. We need to have a regional focus. So last September, I happened to be in Anchorage at a conference, and I went into the Museum of Art there, and there was a photo display that was just outstanding. It was just photos of people with no story, though. And I really wanted to know the story behind those people. And it's really what inspired me to come back to our BRR committee, as we call it, and ask them to think about profiling local companies and telling the story of Southern Oregon, of actually using our assets here in Southern Oregon, which are the people and our businesses here, to help us promote Southern Oregon.
Was there a title to that picture that you saw? Was it titled?
It was actually a whole exhibit. What had occurred is the photographer had gone out every day of the year and taken a photo of an Alaskan, and that was the exhibit in the Museum of Art, was 365 photos of people of all ages from every background.
And it was the people that make up the community, and that's correct.
And it was just outstanding photography that really captured the landscape and the people both. And I think we have a story to tell in Southern Oregon of not only our beautiful landscape, but the people that live and thrive here.
Oh, boy. Colleen, we have a quick break.
Okay.
Let's get to that. We've got Colleen Johnston. She's the one of the senior business development managers at So Ready. And the annual meeting, the 27th annual meeting for membership, is tomorrow at the Inn at the Common. Starts at 1 and goes till 5. And it's going to be great. And the rollout of the national marketing campaign, the Southern Oregon Edge. We're going to talk more about that when we come back. I want to hear about this. Do we have a defined identity in Southern Oregon? We're going to ask that. We're going to find out when we come back. We'll be right back on the Sunrise Show. Don't miss it.
Stay tuned. Sunrise will return in a moment on KCMX News Talk 880. A little bold and extremely fun, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. on KCMX AM 880. Lively conversations around news, politics, and people, plus local news and weather every 30 minutes. Here's Craig.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. 18 minutes after the hour, about 59 degrees. We're visiting with Colleen Johnston. She's the Senior Business Development Manager for So Ready. You can go to soready.org. If you're not a member, shame on you. No, I'm kidding. If you're not a member for So Ready, wow, you need to check that out. It's definitely worth it. Colleen, we were talking earlier, just before the break, about whether or not Oregonians and Southern Oregonians, if their identity is truly defined. Do we have a defined identity of Southern Oregon?
I don't believe that we do have a defined identity for Southern Oregon, or even Oregon so much. Oregon as a whole doesn't do a lot of outside marketing to attract companies and interest to the region. And that's part of the reason why we're doing this, is to really start capturing more interest in our region that we can follow up on and develop the relationships with and tell the story. We have great assets, which are our people, and we want to tell the story of the great companies we have here.
And then natural resources. I mean, it's almost, between the rivers and the lakes and the mountains and what we have, and the timberland around us, the natural resources are just overflowing.
That's right, and that's part of the reason why so many companies love it here, is because we have this recreational and cultural amenities just right outside our doors, so we can be finished with work and on the river in a matter of 15 or 30 minutes for many of us. So that's part of what makes them want to be here, is that livability factor that helps their business thrive.
That quality of life, and someone else talking about commuting to work. And you have that, 45 minutes to commute to work one way, 45 minutes to commute to the other way. That's if you stay at work all day. If you happen to leave at lunch, or if you had a family emergency, or you had to go home for whatever, childcare, any number of things, now you're back and forth and back and forth. Think of the time and the energy is lost there in comparison to here and having happy employees.
That's right. Our commute time, actually, the average for our region is less than 19 minutes one way, but that's the average. There's so many people are fewer minutes than that. So you're right about the happiness factor. And, I always like to say that I'd love to have a billboard down in the Bay Area that says, spend more time outside of your car, move your business to Southern Oregon, because it's true.
Oh, my
gosh. You spend a lot of time in your car.
And we happened to go down to Los Angeles earlier in June, and we were prepared for that. But the traffic, at some point we were trying to get to a meeting, and all of a sudden we were only going 3 or 4 miles. And all of a sudden, traffic stopped. We're just like going, wow. Hey, I've got a call coming in. Let's get this call. Good morning. You're live on the Sunrise Show. Do you have a question for Colleen?
I don't have a question. I have a comment or two. Good morning, Craig.
Well,
Good
yes,
morning
sir.
To your guest.
Yes. Go ahead, sir.
More power to him. If I was to say anything about the Southern Oregon region, is entrepreneurship thrives here. And the reason I say that is because until I semi-retired a few years ago, I opened up a new sales territory for a company out of the Portland area dealing in material handling equipment. And we had no list of accounts in Southern Oregon. I operated on cold calls. And I was amazed at the number of businesses that we knew nothing about in this region. Now, how many of them are still alive and well today, I don't know. But when I walk into a company operated by two brothers that made garbage cans for Disney World and the amusement parks all over the United States, decorative garbage cans. When I walk into a company in White City that made Surreys that I think are still there, that they shipped all over the United States in tourist areas for rental programs. It was just amazing, the variety of cold call businesses that I called on that were thriving here that none of us knew anything about.
Dwayne, you're absolutely right. And I think the Southern Oregon Edge, we're going to be talking about that, the marketing campaign that's going to be rolled out tomorrow. If you can't make it, it's a shame, but we'd love to have you, of course, at the annual meeting tomorrow, because it's the rollout, and that's what we're getting ready to talk about next. So
that's right.
Thanks, Dwayne. Appreciate your call.
All righty.
Take care.
I'll get out of your hair.
All right.
Thanks, you too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Perfect lead right into that whole thing. As far as the Southern Oregon Edge, is that the edge you're talking about? The edge that Southern Oregon, the business owners and the people here in Oregon have?
Yes, that the edge that they can have this high livability factor, be able to create and be entrepreneurial. That is our edge, while also living in a landscape that inspires them. Ability to ship out of here very easily, ability to get places through a great regional airport, all those components that make a business run smoothly. That's our edge, the people.
Very good. And so this, of course, you can't tell us much more about the Southern Oregon Edge happening tomorrow because it's the official rollout, but businesses that are around the country that are maybe thinking about expanding or moving or relocating, this is the tip of the iceberg for them, right?
That's right. We want them to be able to see who else is operating here and see what the region has to offer them as well.
I mentioned off of the website the featured speakers tomorrow. Jay Cross with Webster Global Site Selectors will be here.
Yes.
Brad Niva with Rogue Wilderness Adventures.
Yes.
And Jeff Blum with ProCare Software, and then Craig Bramsher with Bramo. And
that's right.
This is pretty exciting because
these are great companies, and they have a story to share, and it really represents different segments of the types of businesses that we have in our region.
You know, all of these individuals are very busy, and of course, Brad with Rogue Wilderness Adventures. One of the great things about what he does is he has guests come down, and they can be from all around the world, for that matter. And he gets to hear their story. So it'll be very interesting to see what he uses there. And then Jeff Blum, oh my gosh, what he does with ProCare Software, that takes him around the world as well. And then Craig Bramsher, and he's getting a lot of publicity with electric vehicles, electric motorcycles. In fact, China, I mean, there's just all of this. It's just kind of busting loose. And this is just kind of the tip of the iceberg, isn't it?
That's true. And I want to comment also that our focus of this Southern Oregon Edge campaign is really on mostly traded sector companies that bring in new wealth to our region. We have a lot of great smaller retail type businesses in the region, but this is to share the story of those hidden gems, those manufacturers, software developers, high-tech companies that are right in our region and nobody knows it.
Clean jobs. You know, Colleen, I tell you, they had this big discussion about minimum wage up in Washington, you know, $15 an hour and all that kind of stuff. And I wondered how that's going to affect businesses in Southern Oregon. And I've always thought that's such an entry-level position. I mean, we need those positions, but that the people that are going to be working that will go up through the ranks. And you fast forward to living wage jobs, $25, $35, $45 an hour. That's what these businesses represent, don't they?
That's correct. These are not minimum wage jobs for the most part, so that question about minimum wage may not even come into play for these businesses. They're already paying wages, good wages.
So bringing in, software engineers, all of this, and this is all part of that Southern Oregon creating and defining our identity, I guess.
That's correct.
Well, that's SoReady.org. You can check that out on the website. They've got, in fact, if you go right to SoReady.org, their opening page, of course, brings you to the Southern Oregon Edge and the launch that's happening tomorrow. Very exciting. The annual meeting. It's lunch is...
It's not lunch. It's heavy hors d'oeuvres in the afternoon, but it'd be well worth your time. We're still taking registrations. You can do that online, which is preferred, or you can show up at the door. We have plenty of room, and we have some treats from one of our sponsors, Butte Creek Mill. And it's going to be a great time to find out about the businesses right here in your neighborhood.
Yeah, it's nothing better than to surround yourself with other businesses that either are concerned about well-being and concerned around their surroundings and what's happening, but the vibrant economy. And we talked about that a little bit earlier in the program. This is what it takes, people leaning in. And I love how this phrase, leveraging our edge, the Southern Oregon Edge. Very excited. Can you tell us anything at all about this launch tomorrow?
Well, I can tell you that it's focused on traded sector companies, and there's many components involved, not only a website, but follow-up with public relations and social media campaigns. And this is not just a one-time shot. This is over a 3 or even more year period of time where we hope to capture many, many stories, again, of the traded sector companies and why they thrive here.
So this is ongoing. So not only the launch is going to happen, you're going to start there, but you've got more stories to tell.
That's right. This is just to get it started and inspire all of you out there to say, wow, we really do have something going on here in Southern Oregon. We do have an identity. Let's share it with the world.
Wow, Colleen. Well, that's great. Well, like I said, I mean, the tip of the iceberg, and that's it. And I'm glad you're leading the charge, Colleen, all the hard work that you do and everything happening there. Membership, of course, for So Ready, there's lots of services. If they're not connected with that, soready.org is the website to go to.
That's right. And it's really through membership that we are able to do what we do. We are not a government agency. We're a private nonprofit. And membership allows us to continue to provide these services complementary to business. We don't send a bill to the businesses we help.
Wow, that's, it's amazing how you gather all of these resources. I mean, I'm really amazed, actually, Colleen, that you're able to gather all these resources and then dole them back out, and businesses thrive because of it.
We believe they do, and we invite you to participate all the more.
Well, I'm going to be there tomorrow, that's for sure.
Great.
Colleen, thank you so much for coming in this morning.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for coming in this morning. Fantastic. I want to hear about it. We'll be talking, I guess it'll be Thursday morning show. We'll talk about the annual meeting at the Inn at the Commons, 1 o'clock tomorrow. Get on to soready.org. Check that out. Whew. Great stuff, huh?
Yes, thank you.
All right. We'll be right back. More on the Sunrise Show when we return. We'll take your calls as well. Stay tuned. News and weather is coming up next. You can always stay connected, kcmxam.com. However that works for you. And you know the phone number here, 541-772-8255. We'll be back.
Stay tuned. Sunrise will return in a moment on KCMX News Talk 880.